Forward TV. The world is thinking.
There's no credible evidence that the CIA or mob or any of these groups was involved in the assassination. Nothing. I told the jury in London, I said, you know, folks, I'll stipulate that 3 people can keep a secret, I said, but only if 2 are dead. And here we have a situation where close to 44 years later, not one word, not one syllable has leaked out. Why? Because there's nothing to leak out. Secondly, all there is this naked speculation. Secondly, there's no evidence that Oswald ever had any association or connection with any of these groups. And boy, they checked him out, big time. Harold Weisberg, a very well-respected assassination researcher who leans towards a conspiracy theory, he says they checked every breath this guy ever breathed from the moment he arrived back in the United States from the Soviet Union on June 13th, 1962, until the date of the assassination. 25,000 interviews by the FBI. They found no evidence that he had ever associated with any of these groups. Number 3, assuming for the sake of argument that one of these groups decided to kill Oswald. I reject that completely out of hand. It belongs in a Robert Ludlum novel and nowhere else, but I didn't have that luxury in my book. In my book, I discuss it in great depth. But let's assume for the sake of argument the CIA or mob or the military-industrial complexes, let's kill President Kennedy. Oswald would have been one of the last people, and we know he's guilty, I've just told you that. I mean, I'll give you the evidence, 53 pieces. Oswald would have been one of the last people on the face of this earth whom they would have gone to. Why? Well, number 1, he was not an expert shot. He was a good shot, but not an expert shot. He had a $12 mail-order rifle. He was notoriously unreliable, extremely unstable. I mean, come on, this guy defected to the Soviet Union, pre-Gorbachev. I mean, even today, who in the world defects to the Soviet Union? I mean, isn't it one of the bleakest places on earth? I think it is. And he gets over there, and he wants to become a Soviet citizen, and they turn him down. What does he do? He tries to kill himself. He tries to commit suicide. He slashes his wrist. Just the ideal type of guy that the CIA or mob would want to rely upon to commit the biggest murder in American history. Okay? Right. Let's take it a step further. One of these groups wants to kill the president, and for whatever crazy, bizarre reason, they want Oswald to do it, and he goes along with it. Let's see if where that takes us makes any sense. Once Oswald shot Kennedy in Dealey Plaza and left the book depository building, one of 2 things would have happened. Let me tell you the least likely thing first. The least likely thing is that there would have been a car waiting for him to help him escape down to Mexico or wherever. Certainly the conspirators would not want their hitman to be apprehended and interrogated by the authorities. That's the least likely thing that would happen. The most likely thing, by far, you folks are all intelligent people, and I think you know exactly what I'm going to tell you now. The most likely thing by far, if the CIA or mob got him to kill Oswald for them, you know there would have been a car waiting for him to drive him to his death. You know that would have happened. And yet Oswald's out on the street with $13 in his pocket trying to flag down buses and cabs. That fact alone shows you there was no conspiracy. I mean, even the presidential motorcade that drove beneath the window, the 6th floor window where Oswald was, that motorcade wasn't even determined until November 18th, 4 days before the assassination. Does any rational person believe that the CIA or mob would conspire with Oswald to kill the president within 4 days of his coming to Dallas?